Welcome everyone to our webinar. We will make sure to respect your time. My name is Kaja Figlarska and I'm a sales support specialist at Kirkhoff Technologies, which is an MSP, managed service provider. And joining me today is Isabel Schmidt, our VCAO and AVP projects. She works with our clients to create a vision for information technology that meets the organization's objectives. And then she works with our project team to implement that vision. At the end of our presentation, we will have Q&A, so please feel free to leave your questions in the chat. And if you have any questions, if you would like to deep dive into anything that Isabel is talking about, let us know and we will try to do so. Thank you so much.
All right, so today is going to be a little bit of a different format than a presentation webinar. It's going to be more of a demonstration webinar. And if we want to turn this into an interactive demonstration, don't hesitate to put in your comments and just kind of ask us to go deeper into something. We're going to talk for about 30 minutes on this. We could talk for 3 hours on it. So even though this is a deeper dive than what we did last in the spring, we're still going to be just kind of expanding on that. So if there's areas you explicitly want to see us demonstrate or kind of talk through Microsoft's best practice on using, don't hesitate. Just kind of put that in the chat and Kyle will get it in and I can demo. So what is online collaboration? So really, online collaboration requires a couple of things to really be truly collaborative. So it requires an integration between tools and apps and services. And this is going to be something that we really kind of focus on and highlight today, because it's kind of like what really sets this platform and the entire Microsoft 365 suite aside from from competitors or just about any other product line on the market. So this is our first kind of deeper dive into Microsoft 365 apps. As we talked about last month, Microsoft 365 is not just kind of like your Word and Excel and in your email. It's an entire suite of applications that all integrate and are integrated together. So that's kind of what we're highlighting in this series of webinars. Microsoft Loop is our first one that we're doing this. So online collaboration requires real-time co-authoring without just using a sync or a copy. We're not going to be emailing, documents back and forth. We're not going to be having multiple copies open at the same time and having synchronization errors or anything like that. This is real-time co-authoring where multiple people are inside of the same document and content at the same time. And it requires protection that works on the web. So this is granular security permissions. So we're going to show you what that kind of looks like, where people have access to everything they need, but they don't have access to what they don't. And it's really important for organizations to be able to keep their data. And platforms like Microsoft 365 in its online collaboration really kind of allow you to set up that granular permission and give people everything they need to be really effective without putting your organization's data at risk. So we're going to talk really quickly about the evolution of online collaboration. Years and years and years ago, it kind of started with Microsoft OneNote, and OneNote's still there. It's still great fun. We still use it to some extent. It's more and more being replaced by Microsoft Loop, but there is still integrations between OneNote and Microsoft Loop. So this is for ad hoc note taking, for just kind of unstructured information when you're brainstorming, when you're collaborating on something. Microsoft OneNote really kind of set the stage for digital note-taking years ago, and it's been a really powerful application for many, many years. And the same with Microsoft SharePoint Server. SharePoint has server on premises, has been around for many, many, many years. And as organizations move to Microsoft 365, SharePoint Online became kind of the de facto place to bring a lot of that collaboration that used to happen inside of your corporate intranet and bring it online into the web and available everywhere. So we're going to go really quickly here in an introduction to using Microsoft Loop. This is going to be a very high-level overview of what we did in the spring. If you want just kind of a deeper dive into the introduction, we're going to give you some information there, and you can, of course, go and find our webinar from the spring that was our introduction to Microsoft Loop. Where is my board? There it is. All right, so when you go to, oh, let me just have my camera catch up here. Is it going to do that?
It froze again.
It froze again. Okay, so I'm going to do this a little bit differently then. I'm going to stop sharing there, and I will just come on here and share my screen that way. All right. So in using Microsoft Loop, when you first get onto Microsoft Loop, it's just loop.cloud.microsoft, and you're going to be met with a page that looks something like this. Yours won't be as full and it won't have stuff in it, but you will have this getting started page. Everybody gets a getting started page, and it kind of takes you through what's going on with Microsoft Loop. So the welcome page has got a little video on there that kind of shows you the basics. Don't hesitate to go over that. We're not going to watch the video. We're going to talk about some of these things. So your order might be a little bit different because I demo this all the time, and sometimes my orders are different, but you can go here right now and kind of follow along. So checking out the starter workspace, that's where we're here. And, so that's great. We're done. I've already checked all of these off. And go to the workspace overview. That's this tab here. So navigating Microsoft Loop, the Loop button will always take you back to the home page. You can expand out the tab for things that take place right across all of your spaces. Here, you can search, you got your notifications. Then if you've got this collapsed down here, as you'll note, you can just simply click on that and click on your getting started space to bring your menu back up. So it really allows you to kind of focus on the content. We're going to create a new workspace in a little bit. That's going to be fine. We're going to go through kind of a deep dive into what project work might look like. So that one's in progress. We're going to invite other people to that workspace once we get it going. And don't forget to send feedback. This is an application that's definitely under heavy development by Microsoft. They want your feedback on what works for you, what doesn't work for you, if there's bugs or errors, or if there's features and things you really want to see expanded on. Don't hesitate, send them that feedback. I certainly have. And having fun. This is an online collaboration platform that's first and foremost about people, about creativity, about brainstorming, meetings, collaborating. That's people talking with people about a common goal. Have fun with it. There's so much to do here that you can really create empowering and creative work inside of your organization. So a little bit of the basics. This basics page kind of really shows you a little bit about navigation, as well as we'll show you some of the page basics on how you just interact with content. As you know, there's no title or there's no toolbars here, right? So all of the management of your content takes place inside of the content itself. So if I highlight over something, oh, that's a title. So if I highlight over this text, that's when I get my text transform toolbar popping up, or I can hit more, and that's similar to right clicking. It gives me a contextual menu. Okay, so there's no toolbar. It's always going to be just interacting with the text where it is. So you use the sidebar to navigate, as we noted. You click on the Loop logo in the top left corner to see all your spaces. You can create workspaces and things like that just by hitting this Create New button, and we're going to go through that in a minute when we create a new project page. Page basics. So the slash menu is what you use to insert content onto your page. So this can be anything from a table to a checklist. It can do code, for example. So if you were collaborating on, as an application developer, maybe it's just going to be subpages, tables. If you just need a grid where you can put information in, that's there. You can export grids to Excel, as you just saw, bulleted lists and more. You can do text styles and things like that out of this menu as well. And you can also work with templates. It'll create templated items, and we're going to get into that in a little bit more. So the slash menu is where you insert content into the page. The at menu is where you interact with more real objects. So that object, like an object in computers can be like, it's an identity, it's a package of something. So that can be a person, it could be a document, it could be another space. So in this particular case, if I at myself, this is Microsoft Loop identifying me as a human being, as my persona. This is my Microsoft account. As we've talked many times before, when you're in Microsoft Loop or any of these Microsoft applications, they all know who you are, and that persona follows you around the entire Microsoft ecosystem. And that's part of what makes it so secure, is that the application knows who I am in a single sign-on way. Like, this is built right into the computer. The computer knows who I am, using the same account that Microsoft 365 uses. So the content, so this can also be other Loop pages and components, and it can be files and folders. It can be meetings out of my Outlook calendar. And then of course you can go and search for things as well. Something you're going to see kind of all over the place that we work on, if you have Microsoft Copilot, Copilot is everywhere in Microsoft Loop. So for creating content, for doing automated tasks, so on and so forth, you're always going to see wherever you're clicking, you're going to have that Copilot button there to help you out. Okay. And as we noted, it's all about people and having fun. And we, of course, want to have like a great ability to very quickly and easily convey kind of emotions, thumbs up, you know, vote up, face palm, whatever it is. Make it human, because it's really, collaboration is about people. As we noted, you can select any text, and click on that contextual menu as it pops up in order to format it, do whatever you need to do to it. And then all of your content, all of the objects inside Microsoft Loop are all going to have this kind of like 6-dot menu on the end of them, and you can use that to kind of rearrange content anywhere in your page, and that's going to be appropriate for any size of object. So we're going to create a loop component in the minute, and that's going to be kind of what we're doing here. Oh, that's supposed to be there. And when we do that, you'll see that you can take entire, you know, sections of content, group that together, and interact with it in the same way. Okay. So components is what really is one of the really powerful things that separates out Loop and the entire Microsoft platform from other online collaboration platforms that you might use. So perhaps maybe you use Confluence or Jira or Trello or something like that for this kind of work. Creating components is an extremely powerful capability. When you create a component, so I just selected this check or this numbered list, and I told it to create a component. And what it did is it created a piece of standalone content that is inside my other content. So this is now something that can really go kind of anywhere. I can open it up and I can have it be its own page. I can create individual permissions to this particular component, and I'm going to show you what that might look like in just a second. But now that this is a loop component, we can really, anywhere we bring this, we're not copying and pasting the text that's in it. We're actually copying this object and putting it somewhere else. So if I'm going to copy this loop component, for example, I might come over into Microsoft Teams. And inside of Microsoft Teams, I'm going to create a post, and I'm going to put this loop component there. And it's going to go out, and it's going to identify, and it's going to find it. And you can see it's going to be like, oh, you know what? Some people who have access to this Microsoft Teams chat don't have access to this. And I'm going to go ahead and give them access. I didn't change the access on my board here. I only changed access on this individual loop component. So as you can see, that's kind of the power that Microsoft 365 has right across the board, is that it knows who these people are that are in this Microsoft team. It knows who the people are that are on this Microsoft Loop board. And when I create that content in here and I post this, this is actually the loop content. If I come in here and I can interact with it, I can add a new item right here inside of Microsoft Teams, and I've just actually gone in and edited that content. So when we get into kind of the project management thing, we'll kind of do another demo of that. So I can wind up managing everything through my loop space, maybe in another team or a management team or something like that, but I can still elicit content and feedback from other people inside of those components. And I don't have to copy and paste the text or ask them about it and, get that content in. They're able to just go in, interact with the content that I need them to interact with. And I don't even have to go to this team board and interact with it here. I can continue to manage it inside of Microsoft Loop. So that's really the power of Loop components. And they can go everywhere. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take a step back here into our next steps, where we were going to create a new project and get some information on it. So up here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new workspace, and we're going to call this a demo. I guess really quickly, do we have any questions or comments or anything like that on what we're going on so far? No? Okay, awesome.
Nothing.
Great. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask if you do. So I've just created a new demo here, and this is going to be it's going to be a demo project. And so down at the bottom, when you create a new option or a new page, you can see here we've got, I can add in a description manually. I can reuse an existing page if I had one, or I can create a template. And so a lot of the power in using the Microsoft products like this is they always kind of give you a really deep dive into how they envision the content and the tools being used. So in this particular case, I'm going to start out with a project brief, and I can look at this project brief and I can see an example of like how Microsoft envisions organizations using this in their workflows. Now, if I hit use a template, it's going to come in and it's going to give me that page structure. But of course, it's not going to give me all of that demo content because Microsoft understands that would be really kind of annoying to have to do, go in and clean out all that demo content. So in this particular case, I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to edit this with Copilot. And I'm just going to ask Copilot, fill in the page with demo content. And Copilot's just going to go ahead, and this is, quick little shout out to Copilot while we're doing this. Copilot's going to identify what it is that I've just asked for, and it's going to go find that demo content, and it's just going to come in and fill that content in. So you're going to see me do that a couple of times. If you don't have Copilot, it is what we're going to be talking about next month as we continue this Microsoft 365. So here's my project brief for the project that we're going to build out. And we're going to go ahead and create a new page. And what else does a project need? Projects are going to need planning. Project planning is definitely the next one. I definitely want to get my project planning on here. I'm going to keep asking it to do this. So I'm actually going to copy this. And we'll get that going. Still going. Okay, so while that's working on that, we're going to go ahead and create another new page. In this one, we're going to be doing some team decisions. Team decisions always have to be made when you're doing it, and this is going to be kind of the next thing that we demo with another integration. So I've got my project planning in there. I've got my project brief. And again, you can just grab these things, drag them around into whatever kind of order and whatnot that you need them in. So my project plan, I've got this information, and it might be something again where I come in and I'm going to grab this. I'm going to create a loop component out of that. And then my loop component, I'm going to grab that. And we're just going to bring that back over again inside of Microsoft Teams. And it's like new project, Brad. And I might come in here and create that post in there. And now as I update this content inside of my project, it's going to continue to update this. So this might be like a new thread that we're starting, and people might come into it after conversations have already happened, after decisions are made, and they'll always be able to see the most up-to-date versions and information that's on there. So I want that definitely to go ahead there. And my team decision, well, we've got some decisions that we need to make here, and I want to get a feedback from right across my entire organization, but I don't want to give my entire organization access to this, but I also don't want it to, disappear in Microsoft Teams, as it scrolls by. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this and I'm going to create a loop component out of the ideas board. And this time when I grab this, I'm going to go over to my Microsoft Outlook. Just move my sharing thing there. And so here, oh, look at that. I was mentioned here. That's fine. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to send myself an email, but we're just going to pretend, oh, I'll send it to Kaya too. She can interact with it. And so there we go. And I'm just coming in and I'm putting my component in here, and it's going to tell me, hey, some of the people here, they don't have access. Kaya, now again, it knows who Kaya is. It knows that I'm trying to give Kaya access to something and she doesn't have access to it. So I'm going to come in right here in Outlook and I'm going to say that the recipients of this message have permissions. And it's, again, just this loop component Kai has now been given access to. I could do this with like my entire team and send it out, and you're going to be able to interact with it directly inside of their Microsoft Outlook. And you're going to get that information in. And as you can see, I can see Kaya interacting with that in real time. She's able to come in and make those edits. And whether I'm working inside of Outlook or I'm working here inside of Loop doing my project planning, I'm getting feedback. I'm getting collaboration from people where they're at. Kaya is currently in her Outlook, and I'm doing a demo inside of Microsoft Loop. So this is kind of really underscores how the level of collaboration that's capable here and the level of granular security that you're able to bring into this. I'm just going to take 1 minute and ask if we've got any questions, deep dive into any of that. If there's anything I'm going over that's like just piquing your interest and you're like, wait a minute, I want to see more of that. Or if you get into this and you start playing with it and you want like some more demonstrations, I'm happy to do one-on-ones. So again, we're going to come in and we're going to create another new page and just kind of braze through some of these templates now at a really high level. So we talked about project brief. That's kind of going to be going over where, managing your project, the highlights. Now, sorry, I've got one more thing to integrate. Before I get into that, so say perhaps you're collaborating across an organization and not everybody is using Microsoft Loop yet. We'd like to get there, but maybe there's some features in Loop that you really don't have. You really don't have enough power here inside of project management as far as tasks and things go. So when we bring up that slash menu, one thing I'll note is that Microsoft is integrating with other applications and other applications are integrating with Microsoft. So for example, here I can come into Planner and I can grab an existing plan out of Microsoft Planner. So maybe my organization is looking for kind of that higher level project management inside of Planner. You can still bring that kind of content into Microsoft Loop. So Microsoft is the backend that makes Loop work, these components, Microsoft is expanding that out into other platforms and tools. And this is an example of where they've added it into Microsoft Planner, the ability to like grab that component and bring it out. And the same thing, if you're like a development team or something like that, maybe it's going to be your GitHub. I don't have GitHub configured on that, so it's not going to work because I'm not a developer really in that regards, but same kind of thing, right? So it's not just bringing Loop into other applications. Microsoft is more and more bringing other applications into Loop as well. So same kind of thing, maybe we need to do some collaboration around this here. This is a graphic for a project or something. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to make that a Loop component. Same kind of idea. So maybe we're going to do an online meeting, and our online meeting is going to include a whiteboard inside of Teams. because Teams meetings, of course, have whiteboards. If you haven't used whiteboard and you want more information on that, that could be a demo that we do. But again, we could be doing a brainstorming session on this collaborative whiteboard while referencing that loop component. And if somebody changes out that loop component, it'll be updated where we're collaborating on it. So we've got project briefs, we've got integration with Microsoft Planner, we've got decision making and things like that that are taking place over Teams and over email. We've got, of course, our project planning overview. We can have meeting notes, and of course, every time we do this with meeting notes, so this might be something where we come in and we start with a meeting template. We can organize it just the way we like. And each time we do this, we're going to just simply duplicate and duplicate and duplicate. I'll show you really quickly a way that we use it that we found to be really effective, is that we'll come in here and we're going to do this, meeting notes. And I'm going to take this piece here, not the attendance. I'm going to take the tasks, and this tasks really needs to be a component because we want the tasks to continue on all the time. So now this is all the agenda. This can all be individual to the existing meetings, but this is now my template. So I've configured it and I've created a task list in here. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to duplicate this page, and it's going to come in, and I want to drop this under, and I'm going to call this page. What are we? We are 2024 10 23. And so now I've got this page. This is my meeting notes for this date. But if I come in and I update my tasks, this task list is going to follow each meeting all the way along. If I come in and I duplicate my template again, or if I saved it as a template, but I can come in and duplicate that over and over and over again, or it can just bring the last meeting forward. And as we update the tasks, it's going to update those task lists right across the board in all of them. Okay. I'm out of time for that. So we're going to go back over to PowerPoint, and we're just going to run through a couple of things to wrap this up. Awesome. So next steps, of course, for yourself is to get in there, play with Microsoft Loop. And if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We love having conversations with organizations about how they can utilize these technologies in their teams, in their organizations. Don't hesitate to reach out. We've got a process that we go through called the Business Improvement Review, where we're able to take your organization at a very high level through a wide range, everything from operations to finance to HR, and everything in between, and really kind of look at where technology might be primed to aid your organization and move it ahead and increase your collaboration and improve efficiencies. The Business Improvement Review goes over all of these. I already explained the slide. Anyways, don't just take our word for it. Squala First Nations is an excellent example of an organization that we were able to take from a modern, or from a legacy on-premises aging hardware, and bring them into a Microsoft modern workplace. And there's a great quote from Lorraine here about how we were able to help their organization. Do we have any questions to go over here?
We don't. But if you come up with any questions, feel free to connect with us. I just posted links, and let us know.
Sounds great. Thank you. All right. So as I said, we're doing a series on Microsoft 365 and all of the applications that it entails. We've just done Loop now, and our next one is going to be on Microsoft Copilot. We're going to show you how this kind of integrated ecosystem that we're demonstrating here with Microsoft 365 and Loop, how that extends into AI. If you've got any questions about any of the IT services or everything we offer, you can give us a phone call. You can send us an email. Don't hesitate to book a call directly on our website. You can follow our page on LinkedIn. We do all kinds of webinars like this on an ongoing basis, as well as we post newsletters and helpful content. And I love connecting with people. people is what I do. So don't hesitate, reach out and connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And that's all for this month, and have a great rest of your week. We'll see you next time.